Listen to this episode if you are unsure about how to tackle this upcoming holiday season as a product-based business. There are so many questions when it comes to the holidays. Should I launch more products? Should I do sales? How many sales should I do? How much inventory should I have? How do I know if I should launch this or that? Or should I do gift sets? Should I do bundles? Do I need new packaging? Oh my gosh, I'm sure your head is running and running in circles right now. And so today I am going to answer this question of like, how do I prepare? What does this really look like? And I do just have to say right off the bat is that this is going to look like a little different for every single business. You know, I work with dozens of business owners over each holiday season, every single individual one. And every year things look a little bit different for different industries, for different products, for different things. It's not even every year. It's basically every business. People buy for a different reason. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit today. I want to talk about the holiday season. You know, this is truly the Olympics or the Super Bowl for product-based businesses. There is about 60% of consumer spending still to be done this year in the last 3 to 4 months of the year. So we have a lot of momentum that you as a business owner can still grab if you are able to really jump into it and take the correct action now. Something I want to say, this podcast episode is coming out on September 26th. And so we're right about to October 1st. At least 80% of households buy their first Christmas gift in October, meaning that people are starting to shop or at least think about who are they buying for? Oh, I could buy this for them and get it for Christmas. It's in the back of everybody's mind already at the time that this is coming out. And that's something that we're really going to talk about at the end. Basically, this episode, I want to talk about the mistakes, some questions that I want to ask you, and then just some suggestions and some things that I really want to look at. And then maybe some things to do, you know, moving into next year, because it really does take months of lead up to be able to really see the maximum effect. It doesn't mean that you can't make changes now to see a change. It just means that a lot of changes sometimes can take more than a couple of weeks to really see it. But there's a lot of things that you can still do to maximize your holiday season. Before I dive into this, my name is Madison Page. I am a business growth specialist. I am the host of the Small Business Growth Podcast. I help small businesses turn into brands and become the next household name that I know that they really want to. And this is what this episode is all about. This conversation was actually submitted by somebody inside of our Small Business Cafe, which is our completely free podcast community that you can join. The link is in the show notes. It's a space for you to ask questions, connect with other business owners, as well as gain some bonus support from me. She says, "Hey girly, I think for me right now, the biggest challenge is preparing for the upcoming holiday season. I need some guidance and some creative thoughts and ideas and help on how to promote the upcoming holiday season products. I think for me as a business owner, I get so hung up on trying to give too much to my clients versus creating hero products during the fall and the holiday season. I would love to hear your feedback, advice, suggestions relating to marketing and email marketing as well." So this is a really big conversation. I could literally record probably 5 different episodes just based on this question. How do I prepare? How do I promote? How do I do marketing? What do I do for email marketing? You know, should I launch new products? Should I have hero products? All of those different things are completely separate episodes. But what I really want to do today is kind of give a good overview of the holiday season and mostly the things not to do when coming into it. Again, I want to say the holidays are approached differently by everybody based on your ideal customer, based on your products. Like I have some clients that I'm like, the holiday season just isn't going to be as profitable for you because people just don't really gift your product very often. Doesn't mean that you don't do anything. No, it just means that it's not going to be as fruitful for you as it would be for somebody else. And, you know, some businesses, the difference between skincare versus candles over the holiday season is a big difference. The difference between, you know, clothing versus tools is a difference. Like every individual brand, industry, you know, product, all of those things do have differences here. So everything is going to be a little bit nuanced. This is why, again, I know I say this a lot, that I can't just give blanket business advice that you need to do all of these things, and be really cautious when you are hearing business advice of saying, is this actually something that makes sense for my brand? And you might not know the answer to that all the time, but there's plenty of time where people come to me and they say, hey, you know, I just heard somebody say this. And I was like, okay, that's not meant for you. And just realizing that. So I do just add that disclaimer onto this because some of this advice might not be something that really fits your product, but this is for the majority of products. So some of the major mistakes that I really see, and then I'm going to give you some guided questions of what to ask yourself to really figure out some of the answers to your own questions, but it will help, I promise. So one of the first mistakes that kind of touches on something that she said is that there is too much newness around the holiday season. Too often, people are trying to launch crazy new products, new collections December 1st. They are trying to constantly be launching these new products, and launches are usually not going to revolutionize your sales over the holiday season. Yes, they're a good way to kind of get a little bit of a bump. However, there is so much noise that it's actually hard to launch effectively over the holiday season because so many people are selling, launching, promoting, having all of these things going on. It's really hard for your launch to be the one that they're paying attention to unless you have a really ride or die community that pays strong attention to you. But launches oftentimes are like, okay, I want to launch to make sales, but there's a lot of ways you can make sales without launching. Launches are time consuming, they're expensive. They oftentimes kind of make it where people stop buying for a couple of weeks because you're teasing this launch coming. And so there's like a lot of shifts that happen when you launch. So I don't actually recommend you launching a bunch of new products within the holiday season. I would actually rather, like you said, really sink into the products that you have and that your audience really knows and loves, because it's hard to even do proper product education during the holidays because there's so much more noise that people might end up getting to the point of you launching and they still don't really fully understand it because there's so much more ad spend, there's so many more people talking, there's so much going on in life that people don't actually pay as much attention on social media and some of your marketing that you have. The next one is not adapting to that noise. So many people are selling, so you need to sell more as well. And when I say sell, I don't mean that you need to launch more. I mean that you need to strategically have active promotions going on. You need to be marketing more, you need to be selling more, and there's no excuse to not be sending more marketing out, or there's no reason to not do that. It's okay to send more emails in November and December than you send a lot of the other time of year. You are basically in, I call it like active versus passive selling. You are basically in an active selling season for like 6 to 8 weeks at the very least. And so understanding that you can be sending more marketing, more emails, more material, and more social media, more stories. You're trying to get in front of these people in the best way possible. And because there's so much more noise, it's hard for you to get seen. So you have to adapt to that as well. The next mistake is not preparing your audience to buy in the months leading up to it. So the goal of September and October is to prep your audience to be ready to buy from you come October, November, and December. And so again, October isn't that you need to be having your your Christmas stuff out by then, just realizing that people have it in the back of their mind. So when people have it in the back of their mind, when they see your marketing, they're also saying, okay, who can I gift this to? They're already starting, even if it's subconscious, they are already trying to identify, oh, maybe I could give this to this person. You can kind of plant these seeds earlier on. What I see is like November 10th hits and people are like, oh my gosh, it's the holiday season. And now all of a sudden I have to try to come up with a calendar. I have to try to come up with a promotion that's going to go on. And people just don't prepare their audience. They think that the holiday starts November 1st or November 10th or literally Black Friday. And you are already basically too late if you are thinking at that point. We need to prepare your audience in the weeks leading up to it. So if you don't have a plan in October to prepare your audience for the holidays, that needs to be your number one priority. You need to be making them think of you. Who would you be a good person for them to gift to? Who might they gift your product to? And how can we kind of change your messaging in order to make that happen? The next mistake is that people don't adapt their messaging for gift buyers. This is one of the main times of year that your customer isn't actually the person receiving your product. So yes, they might get it up front, but they're also gifting it to other people. This is a great opportunity because every purchase has usually 2 touch points of the person that bought it and then the person that's receiving it as a gift. So you do have more possibility here to kind of make some extra touch points, but this means that you have to change the messaging. Because if you're talking all the time about, treat yourself, this person is not treating themselves when they're buying it for somebody else. The messaging there is like, treat the people you love. Like, your people deserve to be treated like you like to be treated, or whatever. All of those different little messaging shifts that we can make. You need to prep your audience that your product is a good gift. Who should they gift it to? And you have to get them in that mindset of thinking of your product as a really good gift. During the holidays, everything does shift. Your marketing is different. Your messaging is different. This is why my clients, we've been doing holiday trainings now for a couple of weeks to months, because there's a big difference that happens in these like 8 weeks of the year. You really have to, it's like 8 to 10 to 12 weeks, kind of depending, but you have to be able to adapt all of your marketing in order to fit that. So some of the questions that I really want you to like sit and ask yourself, get a notebook, ask yourself some of these questions. How do people gift your products? Are they gifting it with other products? Is your product the like one big product that they buy for somebody? Are they bundling it together? You know, I love buying somebody like a cosmetic bag and then like getting a bunch of fun little cosmetics and putting it inside of there. So like if you are, you know, a cosmetic bag company, or if you are a cosmetic company, if you sell lipsticks, like people often gift that as like an add-on to a perfect gift. So like something I also like to do is have like a main gift and then like a couple of little things. If you haven't noticed, I'm a big gift giver. I love gift giving. And if I buy you a gift in October, you're getting it in October, because there's no way I can wait to give it to you. I'm terrible. But you have to think about, how do people gift your gift? So if you have lipsticks, are they giving people like 3 of your lipsticks in a gift set? Or are they adding one of your lipsticks to a stocking? And you might not ever know a concrete answer, and there might be a couple of different answers, but that is how you want to be sharing it in your messaging, in your marketing, in your photos, and all of those other pieces as well. So you have to know, how do people gift your products? And you have to know that really, really well. The next one is who are your products being gifted to? And how can you give them that idea that your product is a great gift for that person? So, you know, really making that shift of, okay, who is buying my product for somebody else? And then who are they buying it for? Are they buying it for their bestie? Are they buying it for the stranger that they just like need a gift for? Are they buying it for their mom, their daughter, like, you know, their husband, whatever? I get ads all the time that's like, give this to your boyfriend. Do you want your boyfriend to look, you know, X, Y, and Z? Do you want your man to look good in a t-shirt? Buy this t-shirt. Because they know that they're marketing to me to gift it to my fiance or to my man in my life. The other question is what is the purpose behind this new product that you're going to launch? If you are going to launch something, I ask my clients this all the time. They say, hey, Maddie, I really want to launch this. I say, okay, what's the purpose behind this launch? And if their answer is to just get an influx of sales, then that's okay. But that's a different strategy than if this launch is adding to the customer journey. If this is adding a product that I don't have, that is kind of like a gap within my product suite. Or, you know, I also have had people being like, I don't know why I'm launching it. I just feel like I need to because it's the only time people buy. If it's the only time that people buy, my answer to you is no. You cannot keep launching if that is the only time people buy, because you're just reinforcing that into people's minds as the only time they buy from you is when you have something new. That is a marketing problem. You need to fix that strategy. So if you're launching something because you feel like you have to, this person said that I need some guidance and some creative thoughts and ideas and help promoting the upcoming holiday season products. I think for me as a business owner, I get so hung up on trying to give so much to my customers rather than creating hero products during the fall and the holiday season. So what we have to look at here, and you might be saying give as like a promotion, a sale, things like that. But what I see here is that, yes, some holiday products are good. Like if you have a seasonal business, if you have a business that has seasonal products, it's okay to launch some of those things, but you don't need seasonal products. It's not something that is an absolute requirement, because you can just sell your hero products. If you are launching because you think it's going to kickstart your consistent sales, if you're launching just because you feel like you have to, if you're launching because everybody else is doing, those are the wrong reasons to launch. I have clients that have launched every couple of weeks, and I've really coached them to try to stop launching because it's expensive, it's time consuming, it's energy draining, it like dilutes your marketing in a lot of ways. You're just adding products. Like honestly, I think the best brands have like 5 SKUs. They don't have 100 SKUs because it's so much easier to market 5 products as opposed to marketing 100 products or all of these diversified product suite. So it's not always what you really want to do. So I want to know what your intention is behind launching, and how can I be different different than everybody else is another question I want you to ask. Just because all of these other people are doing these things, yes, there's strategies that everybody can do, but I also want you to identify how can you do something that's different, that somebody can say, ooh, this is fun. Oh, this is a great idea. Because again, there's so much noise. Everybody's doing the same stuff over and over again. How can you be the person that does something differently? And that is really important here. Hey, I'm jumping in here for 30 quick seconds for those of you who are loving the podcast but wish we could dive deeper into every episode topic together. I have actually started a completely free podcast community called the Small Business Cafe for exactly this purpose. Inside this community, we dive deeper into every podcast episode, provide bonus resources, and actually host completely free monthly coaching calls with me. So you can get your questions answered. Plus, you get to submit your questions for our Friday coaching session episodes and connect with other founders too. If you have been loving being a part of this podcast and want to connect with other brand founders, plus get extra support from me, click the link in the show notes below to join. So I do want to answer some of your specific questions in a roundabout way. Again, some of these would take an hour for me just to dive into this. So when you say, I need some guidance and some creative thoughts and ideas and help to promote the upcoming holiday season's products, if you're wondering how to promote the holiday season products, my question is why are people buying it? What is the messaging behind it? And why are you launching holiday season products? When you say, I think for me as a business owner, I get so hung up on trying to give so much to my clients versus creating hero products during the fall and the holiday season. Usually, your hero products are out there year round. Your hero products are the products that you're known for. It's your signature line. And then during the fall and the holidays, we're just promoting them as the best gift to sell to people. When you say you're giving so much, I'm assuming you're saying that you're running so many sales. Sales are not the only way to make actual orders. They're not the only way to increase your orders. Don't feel like you have to give so much in order to actually make these sales. There's a lot of promotions and a lot of active selling things that you can do that adds scarcity, adds urgency without it taking 20% off of your pocket. I am not somebody that really loves like a 30% off site-wide sale. Anything more than 30% is absolutely crazy to do unless your profit margins allow for it. But, just realizing that you don't need to give in order to get, because a lot of times if you are constantly giving during the holiday season, you are just training your audience to only buy from you when you are over giving during the holiday season. I have plenty of companies that I only buy from them on Black Friday. It's the only time of year I buy from them because I only need their product once a year. And I know that they run a 50% off sale on Black Friday. Why would I shop any other time of year? They have reinforced that because they have given too much during the Black Friday season. So there's a lot of ways that you don't have to do that. And I would literally never buy from them other times of year because I know that they're willing to offer me 50% off in a couple of months. And so unless I absolutely need that product, there's no reason I would buy from them because A, I know that their profit margin must be crazy high to be able to give me 50% off, or B, I know that I can just wait and get it for 50% off later on. Answering the question of should you be giving, should you be launching is very dependent on you. Now, if you do have a seasonal brand, which I know this person's brand that submitted this question, she doesn't really have a seasonal product brand, but I could see her creating seasonal products. It's not necessary for you. If it's expensive to produce the special packaging and the special formulation and all of that, it might not actually be worth it for you. That launch, seasonal product launches are not going to be the launch that actually takes off your business, makes your business take off and finally get to consistent sales. They're kind of an added bonus for your community. So it's not necessary. People will still buy your actual hero products that you have 365 days a year, and they will still buy those things. And what our goal is as a business owner is to get those things tackled. I would love to hear your feedback and advice and suggestions relating to marketing and email marketing. So I kind of went over some of these things. You have to adjust your marketing to your gift buyers. You also have to understand that email marketing's volume can go up this time of year. Don't just sell all of the time in your emails. Again, you have to understand that people are looking for ideas. They're looking for information. They're looking for who your product would be really great for. And so that's also something in here is that in your email marketing, we have to adapt it for gift buyers. There are so many people Everybody has like a list of people they're buying for at this time of year. It's on you to say, this person, buy from me. This person, buy from me. This person, buy from me. And I have the perfect gifts for them is what you are really trying to do. And so that's the biggest change within your marketing. I have a lot to say on what you could do with your marketing, but I need to know your brand in order to do that really well. And I need to know where you're at, what you're thinking, and what your current promotions are. Some of the things that I want you guys to think about going into October. How are you pre-selling your audience? How are you getting people prepped in order to buy from you? How are you nurturing your community and like really making that shift into this gift buying season, into this Super Bowl? Something that I do just want to say, and I think I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't cover this, is the holidays are like the Olympics. Something to note about Olympians is that those athletes are not just training for 4 to 6 weeks prior to the Olympics. They start harnessing their skills and trainings months in advance, years in advance. They are constantly trying to hit their big objectives early on. So those final weeks are just final tweaks, they're fine tuning, and they're perfecting. If you try to do all of those big objectives and make all of these big changes in those final few weeks before the Olympics, they would not be as effective, they would not be as dialed, they will not be as efficient, they will not have the same conversion rate if they spent more time on it. What your goals is to train, quote unquote, your business for the months leading up to the holidays. And then those final weeks in October and September and August are for fine-tuning, plugging holes, and basically preparing your audience to buy. If they never tackled those big objectives first, they would not be able to push it all into those final few weeks prior to the Olympics because they wouldn't have that fine-tuning. The holidays in your business are the exact same thing. The holidays are the payoff of 10 months of solid strategy, of hard work on those big objectives. The holidays are the payoff of the quote unquote training that you do the rest of the year. And so if you are coming to me in November saying, Maddie, how do I maximize the holiday season? I will tell you, where were you in August? Because that is when we are really making some of these really big changes. And it's not to say that you can't improve now, but momentum takes time, change takes time, and tackling these big objectives takes time. And so you can't do it in the middle of the holiday season because your momentum will be peaking after the holiday season is done. Because I can't just change 4 pieces of content for you. I wish I could, but I can't just change 4 pieces of content for you. And then all of a sudden your business blows up and your holiday seasons are great. It takes fine tuning. It takes handling the big objectives and then fine tuning them and filling those final gaps. It takes time. The holidays are the payoff of the 10 months of hard work on those big objectives prior to. You cannot expect the final few weeks to make leaps and bounds of a jump in the holiday season. Yes, we can adapt your marketing. Yes, we can improve your marketing. Yes, we can create a really good content calendar, a really good promotional calendar. But a lot of that comes from if you still have a foundational issue in your branding, in your marketing, in your website, in your sales process, in your messaging. Those things are not fixed in just the fine tuning in just a couple of weeks. If you have a bigger issue, if you are not able to make sales consistently, if you don't have people coming back, if you don't have a sales process mastered, by the time that the holidays are here, you cannot master that sales process because too many people are buying and there's too much other stuff going on. You need a strategy, you need to fill those gaps, and you need to have clarity on the objectives and actions that you want to take going into the holiday season. You might be listening to this October 1st. It's not to say that in October you can't make big changes that make a big difference, but you need to start now. Truly, my clients and I have started to talk about the holidays in August because that is when I say, hey, the holidays are starting in 8 weeks. Let's identify the final gaps that you need to plug before they are here. Do you need more eyes? Do you need more visibility? Do you need to nurture your community? Do we need to launch anything that makes sense to launch prior to? Because that is when we make the big changes in order for the holidays to come. And so understanding that, I love that you're like, hey, how do I promote? What do I do? And all of these things. Because there are things you can do in the moment that do make a difference. The promotions you offer do make a difference. The marketing that you have does make a difference. The messaging that you have, your website, All of that makes a big difference. There are things that we can do. I have plenty of clients that I work with in October to make changes for the holidays. It just won't be maximized. You have to start sooner than that. I think a big perspective shift that we need to have in business is that things work quickly. We underestimate the amount that we can get done in a day, and we overestimate the amount that we can get done in a year. So identifying that we can really make a big difference in a large period of time, but it's hard for us to get a lot done in a short period of time because we think that we can get all of these things done in 4 weeks, but in the reality of things, change takes time, consistency takes time. But over time, if we have months to do this or weeks to do this, we can build that momentum and you can see it going into the holidays as opposed to waiting. Now, if you're feeling like that is resonating with you, now is the time. Feel free to reach out to me. We can do a strategy session. I would love to do a strategy session with you and really get your holiday plans going. We do have that available right now for you. Now is the time to act on that though. If you're like, Maddie, I have no idea how to do that, it's time to get support on it because you DIYing it like you've been doing for years is just not going to work. You talking to ChatGPT on it now is not going to work. We need to do the things that will make a big difference in a short period of time now. You need to work on the fine tuning. You need to be like, all right, we're kind of beyond being able to really handle big objectives. We need to say what's going to make the biggest change in the shortest period of time. That's what we need to be working on now. So I just want to put that out there. I hope that this conversation was helpful for you. The holiday season is truly an incredible time for small businesses. It's a great time to build momentum. It's a great time to hit your sales objectives for the year. It's a great time to see all of your hard work paying off. If you are kind of bummed about what your prep for holiday season or how much you've grown up until this point this year, it is not too late. It is still time. There's still time to make changes that you can really see changes to your growth. However, you have to act quickly. You cannot start acting in the middle of November and then being like, oh, 20% off site-wide sale for Black Friday. That's all I'm going to do. Okay, thank you. Goodbye. That's just not how it works. So if you are wanting support, feel free to click the link in the show notes. You can apply and we can talk about what support really looks good for you. Otherwise, you can always DM me on Instagram at thisismadisonpage and I would love to chat with you and offer you one of those one-time kind of strategy sessions there as well. I hope you have a great day. I love you. I'm rooting for you. I'm in your corner always, and I will see you in the next episode. If you found today's episode helpful and are looking for more tangible ways to grow your business, make sure you are subscribed to the show. If you want to dive deeper into this topic more, click the link in the show notes and join our completely free podcast community where we dive into every single podcast topic as well as give some bonus support and free coaching calls. And finally, if you are interested in getting my eyes on your business to find your hidden opportunities to scale, apply to work with me one-on-one in the show notes or on our website. Remember, it's not enough to listen. Don't forget to implement too. I love ya. I'll see you in the next episode.